know what mistakes do you ever do while studying the subject pharmacology? Have you ever realized that what are the things that you should avoid while studying the subject pharmacology? Well, if you have not paid attention to your pattern of studying, today I'm gonna bring in front of you 6 important mistakes that you should always avoid in order to study the subject pharmacology in a much improvised, better, effective manner. So, what are these 6 mistakes that you should avoid while studying the subject pharmacology? Let's get to know about them. Welcome all to Pharmacology Difficult podcast. I'm your host Dr. Radhika Vijay, MBBS MD Pharmacology, and this is the audio hub to get the best simplified basic tips, strategies, methods, and lots of ideas to learn better, understand better, and make your concepts crystal clear. If you really find and if there's a question hovering in your minds, is pharmacology difficult? Lend me your ears for a while and let in the magic of knowledge. Now we all know that pharmacology is a quite challenging subject. And if we don't study it in the right manner and style, and we do some real important mistakes that we should avoid always while studying pharmacology, we can definitely score better, we can learn better and gather and comprehend it better. So why to make such mistakes? Better to avoid them, right? Now, the first mistake that the learners and the students often make while studying the subject pharmacology is they try to memorize everything. Yes. Now we all know that pharmacology is such a detailed subject, and if you straight away try to memorize everything without understanding and comprehending the basic concepts, then it is so difficult. There are so many drug names, there are so many actions, effects, side effects, then interactions. How can you memorize everything without understanding the basic concepts? It's not practically possible to retain so much of information without any basis. So what should be your basic idea or goal to avoid such kind of mistake? Don't cram up the things. First of all, understand the basic concepts and then go for the learning. And then definitely within short period of time, you can gather and learn much more information than you can ever imagine. Second important mistake that students and learners often do while studying the subject pharmacology is that they are ignoring the drug classification. And it is not possible to proceed into any topic without knowing the names of the drugs related to that topic. Yes, it's not possible. Just always keep this thing and note it down on a pen and paper that first and foremost go for the drug classification. Drug classification are your best friends while studying the subject pharmacology. When you learn the classification of the drugs are organized on the basis of some property or criteria. And that important basis of their classification on the basis of the criteria or property is very, very important. It is totally unignorable, inevitable. Once you go through the classification thoroughly and you try to basically learn a bit, then you proceed into the details of the topic like mechanisms, actions, side effects, interactions. Then every picture is crystal clear regarding that particular topic. And your learning process will be so much simplified that you will really thank me for that. Mistake number 3 that the learners and the students often do while studying the subject pharmacology is they sit down just one night before the exam and then they try to cram up everything. Is it possible? It's not. Just rushing and gushing into the subject without any planning or idea or any basis is so difficult. It will not help in any particular manner. It is the worst way to study the subject pharmacology. Yes, I do agree. It may help you out through one exam, but the learning process is not for the one exam. It's throughout the life. And for the proper comprehension and understanding the subject nicely for a long period of time, retaining the concepts nicely, you definitely need to have a plan to study the pharmacology subject. The subject demands regular reviews, regular revision, regular visiting the books, and all these steps, they build a solid foundation. If you cram up one night before the exam, you'll forget in one day only whatever you studied, and that will not benefit you in any manner, that is for sure. So just avoid such kind of things. Mistake number 4 that students and learners often do while they proceed to memorize the subject pharmacology, they really ignore the clinical context. Now, pharmacology is actually deeply connected to the real life clinical context. And if you ignore the clinical context, it's very difficult to retain the concepts or understand any kind of detailed information for a long period of time. You will definitely forget it. It's such a volatile subject that you will forget it. So, focusing on the clinical applications is a crucial aspect of this particular subject learning. Relate whatever you are studying to the real life situations, and then whatever you learn will be long lasting. Mistake number 5 that students often do while studying the subject pharmacology, they overload themselves with so much of information. Yes, at one time. I told you, studying in chunks and parts is the best way to study subject pharmacology. Long periods of sitting, overloading of too much information will not help you at all. You have to give breaks at short periods of time, revisit, revise more, and for one particular sitting, don't overload yourself. Don't stress out yourself. It will cause you a burnout. You will never enjoy the subject. You will just try to get rid of the subject so soon that it will not be helping you out at all. So, focus on small parts, small pieces of information, small bites of information at one point of time, and then definitely you will be able to retain the subject for a longer period of time. And mistake number 6, last but not the least, that students often do while studying the subject pharmacology, they skip the revision, they don't keep time for revision, and they think revision is simply a waste of time. No, it is not. It is the most crucial, important step while learning the subject pharmacology. I told you, give short periods of studying and revise more. You have to revise a subject more. The more you revise, the more for a longer period of time you can help with the retention of the basic concepts of this subject. You have to keep on repeating. Whatever you study, whatever books you visit, the pages you visit, just keep on revisiting, repeating, and that will make your foundation very, very strong. Whatever review sessions that you force upon yourselves, they are so beneficial, they reinforce the knowledge, and the information is totally fresh in your mind. You keep on updating yourself, the information, whatever you have studied, always stays fresh in your mind. With a click of a particular idea, you get to retain whatever you have studied. And whatever time you have invested in the subject, it doesn't go in vain. If you don't revise, whatever you are studying, the time you are investing will go in vain. It will be of no use to you. So why to make such kind of mistakes? Sit for short duration of time, but revise more. That is what the subject demands. So these are the 6 important mistakes that you should avoid while studying the subject pharmacology. And if you really stay aware, focus, and actually bring in attention what you are doing while studying the subject pharmacology, you can easily realize your mistakes and avoid them. Because repetition of mistakes won't help you at all, and they will not lead you further for improvement. Avoiding the mistakes, working towards smarter goals definitely will work for improvement in the subject pharmacology. So that is the mantra, and I hope I've given you a lot many tips to study the subject easily and effectively, to mistakes that you should avoid while studying the subject, and you can achieve your goals in this particular subject very, very nicely. In the next episode, I'm going to tell you some tips to study the subject pharmacology real fast. That are my secret tips, and do wait for them. Stay tuned. For all the updates and latest episodes of my podcast, do visit www.ispharmacologydifficult.com. where you can also sign up for a free monthly e-newsletter of mine. It contains a lot of updates about medical sciences, drug information updates, and my podcast updates also. You can follow me on different social media handles like Twitter, Insta, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They all are with the same name, is Pharmacology Difficult. If you are listening for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and follow whatever platform you are consuming this episode. Stay tuned, do rate and review on iTunes, Apple Podcast. Stay safe, stay happy, stay enlightened. Thank you.